This question comes from Alex, who asks, what if hurricanes never ended? At first, it sounds like a scene from a disaster movie, but the reality would be far stranger and far more catastrophic than most people imagine.
Hurricanes are massive storms powered by warm ocean water. They rotate, bring intense winds, and produce torrential rain.
Normally, they form, intensify, make landfall, and dissipate within days. But imagine a world where every hurricane never lost strength, never slowed down, and never stopped moving.
The first effect would be total destruction of coastal regions. Cities like Miami, New Orleans, or Manila would be hit by unending 300-kilometer-hour winds and constant flooding.
Buildings, roads, and bridges would be shredded immediately. No human engineering could withstand a continuous storm of that magnitude.
But it wouldn't just be human infrastructure at risk. Forests, farmlands, and wetlands would be continuously pummeled. Trees would be uprooted, crops destroyed, and animals unable to find shelter would perish. Marine life would also struggle as hurricanes churn waters endlessly, disrupting currents and ecosystems. The climate itself would go into chaos. Hurricanes transfer heat from the ocean to the atmosphere, so constant storms would disrupt global temperature patterns. Jet streams would collapse, monsoons would fail, and rainfall would become unpredictable. Some regions could experience flooding for months, while others would face unprecedented droughts despite the constant storms elsewhere. The atmosphere would be in constant turmoil. Pressure differences would create continuous lightning storms, tornadoes within hurricanes, and massive waves on the oceans. Storm surge would permanently reshape coastlines, eroding beaches and washing away entire islands. Tectonic activity could also be affected. The constant movement of massive amounts of water could influence seismic activity, potentially triggering earthquakes and even volcanic eruptions in certain regions. The shaking ground would compound the destruction from wind and rain. From a human perspective, survival would require extreme adaptation. Underground shelters might offer temporary refuge, but supply chains would collapse immediately. Food and clean water would become scarce, and billions of lives would be at risk. Even if some humans survived, organized society would likely collapse under the weight of constant natural disasters. The oceans themselves would be transformed. Endless churning would disrupt marine currents and ecosystems. Coral reefs would be destroyed, fisheries wiped out, and ocean chemistry altered due to mixing of deep in-surface waters. Sea levels could rise more quickly due to constant storm surges and melting polar ice, accelerated by atmospheric chaos. Some ecosystems might adapt, but only slowly. Birds and flying insects could exploit wind currents, while certain extremophile marine species might survive in churning waters. For the majority of terrestrial life, adaptation would be impossible in the short term, leading to massive extinctions.
Economically, the impact would be catastrophic. Every coastal city, port, airport, and industrial center would be destroyed repeatedly.
Global trade would collapse. Governments would struggle to operate, and humanitarian crises would become permanent. Insurance systems, emergency services, and global economies would be utterly overwhelmed. In the end, if hurricanes never ended, Earth would be a planet of perpetual chaos. Oceans, coastlines, forests, and cities would be continuously reshaped by unending storms. Survival would depend entirely on human ingenuity, underground shelters, and radical adaptation strategies. This thought experiment shows just how fragile life on Earth is. Hurricanes may be localized and temporary, but imagine multiplying them across the globe and never letting them stop. The result isn't just destruction, it's a complete reshaping of Earth's surface, climate, and ecosystems in ways that would challenge every form of life.